Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today, I have Nancy Leung with us. She is a mother of two, and she's a CPA, as well as she has a successful home-based business. Hi, Nancy. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi, Fatima. Thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and who you are.
Well, as you said, I'm a mom of two. I have a daughter, Emily, who is 13 years old, and my son, Ryan, who's 11. I've been with my husband. We've been married for about 15 years now, almost 15 years. In a couple of weeks, it'll be 15 years.
Oh, wow.
But I know, but we've been together for 27 years. So it's been a long, long, long time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like high school sweethearts?
Close. Like we just shortly after high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
So tell me about yourself and your business and, your family life.
Okay. When John and I have actually started our USANA business a long time ago. We actually were product users for quite a number of years, since about 2006, when my daughter was about 4 months old. And so when we were introduced to the products and the company, John was an avid vitamin user. So he used vitamins and supplements while he was growing up. Me, on the other hand, did not. But I supported him in whatever, he actually wanted to do the business and he wanted to use the product. So I said, I'll support you. But really, when we started the business, my dad had just passed away. And my daughter was 4 months old. So it really wasn't a good time for me to start anything. I was as supportive as I could be to him on this journey, but my focus was on my mom and my daughter. And then so, as time went on, I had my son and then work. And so the business aspect of USANA just kind of fell by the wayside. Not because it wasn't anything, nothing wrong with it. It just wasn't a good time for me to do anything, and for John too, because having young kids, it's really, really difficult to. It's a lot of time, a lot of effort, and for me, raising my kids was my priority at that time. But it all switched. My mind, everything changed about 2013, 2012 timeframe, where I was actually working in an IT company. I was hired as a controller. So I am a CPA. I've been a CPA since 1999, which I'm a chartered professional accountant. And then so what happened was the company restructured, and pretty much half of the company, 3/4 of the company was gone within a matter of a year. So I was trying to kind of figure out where I sat in all this. And I was pretty sure I was going to lose my job. So I don't know, I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life, where I want to go. I mean, my kids at this point were 8 years old timeframe, and I didn't want to give up the work-life balance that I was accustomed to. And again, like I said before, my priority was my family and my kids. So I didn't know what I was going to do. It was kind of that fork in the road where I didn't know what to do. Whether I knew I could rely on my designation, my CPA. I could work anywhere I wanted to work, but it was, again, the time constraint, because for me, I started at 6 and I left at 2. John, who is my husband, and my partner in USANA, he did the drop off and I did the pickup. So that really worked for the two of us. We wanted to be there for our kids. We didn't want my parents or his parents to look after our own kids, so we wanted to do that ourselves, and that was our main driving force, was to be there for our kids. Yeah. And then so USANA kind of just fell back into our life. It was the perfect time for it, because what it allowed us to do was to not have to worry about what I was going to do later on. I knew that if we were to build this, we would build it part-time, and then see where it goes. And that's what we did. So 2014 is when we really focused on the business side of it.
Sorry, 2006, were you actually an associate at that point, or were you just customers?
Oh, we were associates, but just customers. We weren't building at all. We were just, every month we would do our auto order. We would buy every month. But we would share here and there. We would get customers and associates here and there, but not really learning how to do the business, not really actively sharing, right, and growing the business.
Okay. Excuse me. So then what changed from 2006? I know you had your dad who passed away, and you had your kid, and you're also trying to figure out if you were going to continue with whether or not you were going to lose your job. So what really made you want to say, hey, I need to focus on having that side income?
Well, what really changed for me again was I needed something that fit my life, right? I wasn't willing to sacrifice. I wanted to be there for my kids. And if I were to go get another job, I wouldn't be able to start at 6 a.m. and leave at 2. I would have to bend, or something would have to give. And with John in his work, he worked in the public, so he couldn't, his schedule was tied too, right? So, and then I could work part-time. I could work from home. I'm an accountant. I can get clients, but I knew that there was still going to be, I would have to go out and actively network and do all these things to get a client, because that's not what I was used to. And I would, again, have to also upgrade myself, right? So there were certain things that I just couldn't see myself doing at that point in time. And then, so what changed for me was I actually attended one of the USANA conventions, where I was inspired by all the stories that I heard. And Tony Robbins was the speaker, the keynote speaker, and I was motivated. It was just the right time. I was just not in a good place. Work was so busy. I was like the lucky one left, one of the lucky ones left. So all the work just started to pile on and on, all that stress. I just didn't like who I was becoming. I didn't like how my attitude was so negative, and because it was all stress from work, right? And the unknown about what was going to happen for our future. It just put a lot of weight on my shoulder, which I was actually at my quite low. I just didn't like where I was at. And then when I was at convention, it just was the right time. And I really did not know what USANA was about, because I didn't make any effort to learn. All I did was just take the supplements that John was giving me, because I knew it was gonna gonna feed me my cellular nutrition, right? So I just took my vitamins, kept taking them, but I didn't know anything else. But when I started to learn this business, what really attracted me was the compensation plan. Me being an accountant, I'm a numbers person. And when I finally got the chance to learn and study it, wow, I was blown away, because the power of 2, right? It's a binary system. So, and the leveraging, like me, and I'm an accountant, and accountants are typically very quiet, very shy. We keep to the background. We don't like to be out in the public.
You're not quiet. You're not shy.
Well, I learned not to be, right? So I still have my moments, right? But like, yeah. So when I saw the beauty of the compensation plan, I was like, wow, this is amazing, right? But again, backed up, the company is amazing. It's got amazing products. It's got an amazing corporate backup. So the back end is awesome. Everything we have is there. We just had to learn how to do the business, right? So that's what we focus on, was just learning.
So then if you go back to 2006, why did John choose USANA versus any other network marketing company or any other home-based business? Why USANA?
The reason why he chose USANA, and he did a lot of research prior to saying yes, because he had taken supplements previously. His decision was always based what's on sale, right? What's the cheapest, because he thought all vitamins were the same. But when we were shown the comparative guide, and a lot of the supplements because he was taking different brands, right? He realized that what he was taking was not the best. And if you're going to put something in your body, you may as well put the best in your body. So it was a no-brainer for him to switch. Whether we did the business or not, the products were always going to be there. Like we were always going to, the price was not an issue because, again, once we learned why USANA was different, there was no turning back.
So now from a professional accounting standpoint, would you recommend that, employees, anyone that has, a full job 9 to 5 or even a shift work or whatever, right, where they're clocking in their time for money, would you suggest them to have a home-based business? And if so, why?
Most definitely. Okay, so like John and I'm still working full-time. I still work my 6 to 2, but John has stepped back from his career. He used to work for a public sector, but he stepped away. And the reason why he stepped away was because he really had no time with the kids. Because he did the drop-off, he would go into work about 9:30-ish, and then he'd be home about 5:30, 6-ish. Kids would be done by 7:30. So he really had no time with the kids. And then, so this has allowed him, now he does the drop-off, but he can hang around school. He's like one of 2 dads or so that are there hanging out with the moms. But he loves it because now he gets a chance to volunteer for the school. He does a lot for the school, but he also does a lot for the trips, right? He volunteers his time for the trips. Before, he was not able to. I would be the one taking time off of work to do this, right? But now he has the time because he can work the business around what is his priority. He schedules his day very, very diligently, but he slots time in for the family, the things that are important to him, right? So, I mean, he's going camping with my son, grade 6 camp.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's going, and John loves being outdoors, right?
Yes.
So he's like, when the teacher asked, he jumped. He's like, yeah, I'm in, right? So how cool is that, right?
That's really cool. Yeah, so that's like one of the advantages of having a home-based business. But in terms of accounting, like in terms of like the professional industry, would you suggest other people have home-based business?
Yeah, for sure.
Or even a side hustle.
Yeah, for sure. Because for me, I'm working full time, right? With this, I do our taxes. So what happens is when April comes around, when I'm doing our taxes, with our side business, with our home business, because John is working from home, there's certain expenses that you cannot claim as an employee. When you're earning a T4, there's not much you can deduct. There's certain tax credits that you can claim, but because when you work from home, your home now becomes a tax deductible expense, a portion of the home, whatever percentage that you're operating in. And so there's some certain rules and some certain conditions that qualify for that. But you can start deducting certain things that you cannot, like your cell phone bill, your telephone bill, certain things that you normally can't deduct from a T4. There's automobile expenses. It all adds up, right? And everything counts. I mean, and these are legitimate expenses. Again, we keep track of what we're spending, and everything's documented, right? And as long as you have receipts and then you have documentation of what it is that you're claiming, it's a way to help you recover some of the taxes that you're paying to CRA, and also offset some of the income. So it's actually it's great if you're working a job, like a full-time job or a part-time job. It gives you the ability, like this business here, when I for my full-time job, my salary is capped. I can only make X amount, salary-based, right? But with the home-based business, you're rewarded for your efforts. You're rewarded for how you build the business, how you share the business. And so there is no upper limit to how much you can earn, right? So that was also something that John really wanted to focus on, because he wasn't happy where he enjoyed the people, but he just didn't like the environment, right? And so he had the option and the ability to leave, and he chose to leave because this is way more rewarding for him. He's able to spend time with the kids when he wants to. He's able to, like, you've seen him on Facebook. He's riding here, he's riding there, he's going everywhere, right? And so I'm like, where are you now?
Where's Waldo? Where's
John? Yeah, so I mean, I love it for him because for him, he's always been like, when you see John, you see me, right? With Usana, we're always together. People always put us together. But like for him, he's able to enjoy and do the things that he wants to do, right? And so when he was working his job, he couldn't do it because he was always coming home late, right? He would bike to work, right? But then he gets back so late. So, and biking is his dream. Like that's one of his passions, right?
So we're gonna see him in the fondue next.
The what?
The
Grand Fondo?
Yeah.
You just might.
Well, I look forward to actually seeing that.
Well, I don't know. Maybe try. Maybe like I heard Tim Shumka and I heard Julie Boyer. They're all Ironman. So maybe.
Yeah.
He can run. He can swim.
So yeah, he probably should do an Ironman.
No, I don't think he has time.
I'm sure if you told him, hey, John, let's go do the Ironman, he'd be like totally pumped for that. I know. We'll see. You might be a little bit no.
I'll cheer him on. I'll be a good sideline cheerleader.
We'll all cheer him on. So now, what is the most rewarding thing for you in USANA?
The most rewarding thing?
Yeah.
I think it's about the lives that you see being impacted and changed, and also the transformation of people. So what I really recognize the most is how people kind of lose sight of their dreams. So because when you're working and doing and grinding out every day, that becomes your norm and that becomes your life. With USANA, I've seen so many people achieve way more than they ever thought they could possibly achieve. And the thing is, what keeps us going is that if they can do it, so can we, right? And so we just keep going because we know that it will. What we want and what we want to achieve, it will come, but it will come in time, and we're okay with that. We are patiently working and doing the grind, and we're waiting for our time.
That's always a great reminder because in today's day and age where technology is at our side, and we're all about instant gratification, that we forget that hey, we do need that reminder, and it does come, the right people, the right time, the right, like you said for yourself, it wasn't timing in 2006, but in 2012, 2013, the timing was right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even for myself, like when I had been approached by Linda like 4 or 5 years, and I wouldn't even look at it. And today I'm like, oh, I wish I'd actually started sooner.
You know, that was my one regret when I went to convention in 2014. That was my one regret. After I attended the convention, my thought was, why didn't I see this sooner? Right? Why didn't I come to convention? Why didn't it's all about timing. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right, because I wasn't ready for it. I was happy. I was satisfied with where I was. Nothing needed. There was no need for me. But when the need came, that's when I truly appreciated, and I truly appreciated what USANA had to offer. Right. So
So the teacher will appear when the student is ready.
that's right. And you know what Annette said to me? The very first thing when I came back from that convention, I said, Annette, I do not know what this USANA is about, but I'm ready. She says, Nance, I've been waiting 10 years for you to say that. That's what she said to me. 10 years.
That's a long time.
You know,
It didn't take me that long, but yeah, that's a long time.
it's a long time.
And you've done so well in that time frame, like that from 2012 to today. You're looking at about a 8-year, 9-year gap. Yes. No, 7-year.
Yeah, whatever. I can't add right now. I'm going to count, but I can't add. Give me a calculator.
Don't worry, it's past like work hours. In those last like 7 to 8 years, you and John have really made a huge difference. And not only that, but you've been able to climb the ranks. So you guys are Ruby directors, which is a huge honor. So do you have any closing remarks or points that you would like to give to our viewers, Nancy?
Well, all I want to kind of leave you with is if you're thinking about looking into USANA to see whether it's not for you, really try to see whether or not it fits into your life. USANA is a great opportunity, but it's not for everyone. But if you're looking for something that gives you time freedom, that gives you flexibility, that is health and wellness related, and if you're just wanting to be able to spend time with family and work when you want to work, look into USANA, because USANA doesn't just support you at a cellular level. You actually become a different person along the way. It actually transforms you from the inside out and from the outside in, from all aspects, right? So yeah, just look into USANA, because you never know whether this is for you or not unless you're willing to take the step to find out more. And for me, when I first started, I really wasn't ready, right? But when I looked into it, I fell in love with this company, and that's never going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, just give it a shot. Look into it. It doesn't hurt. If you don't like it, that's fine. If it's not for you, that's fine, right? But you just never know unless you make the effort to look into it.
Well, that is some excellent advice. And, you know, speaking of how people have changed their lives, I was actually listening to another colleague earlier today, and she's 67. So she's actually been with USANA since like the inception of USANA.
Mm-hmm.
And she was saying that she and her husband are getting ready to go on this like crazy long hike. And I was like, you have all this more energy than I do. And I'm like, how much more younger than you? So that's what I have to look forward to, which is kind of cool, which, you know, sets the playing field at like a very high playing field, but it makes it a lot more exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Nancy, for joining me. And I look forward to speaking to you again.
Yeah. Thanks, Fatima. It was fun.